Welcome to Neon Cobra. Let's kick into it. This week, we're going to do a follow-up on last week's video, and we're going to talk about setting up the pay-go billing rates in Copilot Studio. Now, some of the documentation flowing around, there's different ways you can go about it. Some of it, you can set it up in the M365 admin portal, but generally I like to do it from the actual Power Platform portal because there's a lot of different areas within here you're going to want to focus on. So with that, we're going to hop over to my screen. What you're going to see right now is the Power Platform Admin Center. And there's a couple of areas to be aware of here. So starting and focusing on the left is the manage section. So the manage is where you're going to create your environments. Now, this is going to be very important for a couple of reasons. If you started the Copilot Studio viral trial, really odd name, by the way, but if you started that trial, there are some heavy limitations on that environment, even when the trial expires. Where we're kind of seeing right now, and it may fix itself down the road, but if you started a viral trial, that entire environment is not applicable for the pay-go billing rate model after. Something about the way it gets established and set up, it prefers you use the tenant user licensing or the full-blown Copilot user licensing model. So if you're in that scenario, you're going to want to come over to the manage section to the left and create a brand new environment. Now, this can be very lengthy. Luckily, it's loaded this time, but last time I tried to load this video, it actually just spun for a couple of minutes. Now, a couple of areas that are important to know about this, right? Obviously, your name, whether it's a managed environment or not, and you can dive into that as needed, but specifically regions. So a couple things with the regions are whether they are subject to capacity constraints, right? On average, your US, your Canada, those will be okay. Maybe some international organizations and countries will have problems with their regions as the data center resources get spun up for them. But region also depends on where your billing subscription is, your pay-go, right? Which is if you have it established, you have the option down here to choose your billing policies. Now, at this point, I don't have any billing policies that are established in the US region, but I do have them in the Canadian region. You'll notice that the second I choose that, billing policies open up for me. So when we're looking at this, depending on very much the chicken and the egg scenario, when you come to do this, if you've created a billing plan and you're not seeing it for a new environment creation, make sure the regions align. Now, getting down to actually making the billing plans, if you select licensing to the left, you will come through different licensing options, and under Copilot Studio, it's one of the ways you can get to this. You can have the opportunities to create new billing plans or manage the existing ones you have. Additionally, you can do it from the top left to see all billing plans present on the account because you can have it do different things. So working from the billing plans section here, we'll choose new billing plan, and it'll decide whether you want to do Azure Subscription or Copilot Chat Credits. Since we are looking to do the Copilot Studio, we will do Azure Subscriptions. Now, prerequisites for this is obviously to have an Azure plan. So you work with your distributor like Pax8, go to the marketplace and check out the Azure plan SKU. Once it is online and fully generated, you will have access to it in here. So we'll call this, say, Test Plan 2. And we'll choose the subscription we want to apply it to. You may have numerous ones. You can choose that in here. And it'll ask to choose the resource group. Now, unlike a lot of different options we've seen in the past where if there's no present resource group present, you may have to create one manually, I'm not seeing the option to create new ones in this checkout window. So in the Azure plan side, make sure you create a resource group in your appropriate region ahead of time. So we'll just choose the ISC infra, and then we're going to choose the products that it applies to. So in this case, Copilot Studio. Now, occasionally, I will find that it does not allow me to process next. And this could very well be limitations with the subscriptions as well. I've also found sometimes just simply resetting this window and trying again will allow you to create the subscription plan. So this is one way to go about it, right? If you run into issues at this point, a second place you can do this is also from the Copilot Studios to create a new billing plan, right? And it'll go through the same window to bring you through. Apologies for the delay. It's always fun doing these things live. You'll find a lot of times as I start to dive into these that areas have changed. So I've had to edit the video there quickly. So bringing it back, once you've got your test rate plan in play, you can have it then assigned to your Copilot Studio environments, right? We would choose under the manage billing plans, and you can do any sort of edits to this as desired, add additional items to it, and you can add or remove environments. So in this part, location I've got it set for my test Copilot environment. I can add in anything else that would be in the Canadian region. I could apply this rate plan to. Additionally, you can come back to the manage section. And once this loads, you can see I've only got one environment in Canada. You can come in and then you can edit the settings to the environment. So you may find once you actually finally get the subscription set up and everything there, you need to go through and actually apply a specific set of permissions to access the Copilot Studio environment, right? And this is where kind of you get the red herring. If you've got the viral trial, you might be able to log in and then you apply the PayGo licenses to the new environment and it just doesn't work. So specifically, there is this Copilot Studio authors. You can get to this under manage and tenant settings. And you need to assign this to a security group. So you're going to want to create in Enter ID a security group of your choosing, Copilot authors, whatever the case is. Come in here and then apply that security group to this and then add your users to that. That will allow them to log into Copilot Studio and start designing agents and engines. So really, in closure, it's up to you to decide how you want to license these environments, right? Depending on functionality and how big this stuff ends up being in the environment, it may be easier for you to do the per tenant licensing and kind of unleash some users into the environments, right? The PayGo model can be really beneficial because you can grow into it, but it could quickly spin out of control if you've got people creating active agents that are constantly working, right? So it's going to be that balancing act of ensuring that it's generating enough value for the cost. The fixed model gives you a little bit more control. It gives you standardize some of your pricing, and you can mix and match between the two, right? You can create environments that have this PayGo billing rate model on it as well. Some dev environments as such, and then production can be under a different model if desired. But once you really start transacting in one, you kind of want to stay within that as well. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully I don't have to pull this video down anytime soon, mostly because this is a very new, things are changing constantly. Even some of the requirement docs are a little bit different than reality here. So what I want to see is as time goes on, hopefully these documents get updated and maybe I'll update this guide as we go. So hope it helps you out. With that, we'll catch you next time.